Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but maybe things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. I should know this by now. I've been doing this for every day for months, so why do I crumble when I don't have a script? Anyway, the sources of this information comes from the smart device application, Today in History. What happened today in history?
Historical calendar.
And the website onthisday.com. For links to the stories, the music, and anything else we gather, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander.
I'm me.
And we are joined by Senor Lokes, something. And today is Thursday, also known as Thursday, June 2nd, 2022. You start us off today, as per usual, Senor Lunk. Can't believe it, they're still calling you that. Mr. Pussy Slayer.
455, the sack of Rome. Vandius enters Rome and plunders the city for 2 weeks.
Vandals. That's not somebody's name, it's just a bunch of vandals. He thought it was a general or something. I mean, it might have been, I don't know.
Also, 1098, First Crusade, the first siege of Antioch ends in as Crusaders' forces take the city. The record siege began 5 days later.
Dang. So I assume that's when the Muslims came after it afterwards?
Yeah, I think so.
Antioch is a biblical city too, isn't it?
I don't know.
You have one more here.
Also, 1608, London, Virginia gets new charter extending borders from sea to sea.
Ah, so that's where we got it from. From sea to shining sea. Jumping on up into 1615, the first Récollet missionaries arrived at Quebec City from Rouen, France. Alright. 1676, during the Franco-Dutch War, France ensured the supremacy of its naval fleet for the remainder of the war with its victory in the Battle of Palermo. And then a few years later, in 1692, Bridget Bishop was the first person to be tried for witchcraft in Salem, Massachusetts. She was then found guilty and later hanged. Dang. So, witch trials started 330 years ago on this date. Interesting.
Yeah. 1763, Pontiac Rebellion at what is now Mackinac City, Michigan. Chippewas captured Fort Mackinac.
Dang.
But the garrison attention. I got a phone call.
Oh, okay. Chippewas captured Fort Michilimackinac by diverting the garrison's attention with a game of lacrosse, then chasing a ball into the fort. Wow. That's pretty cool. 1774, during the Intolerable Acts, the Quartering Act was enacted, allowing a governor in colonial America to house British soldiers in uninhabited houses, outhouses, barns, or other buildings if suitable quarters are not provided. How'd you like to be that soldier to be bunked in an outhouse? Talk about a shitty situation. 1780, the anti-Catholic Gordon riots in London left an estimated 300 to 700 people dead. Wow. I thought the riots in LA after the Lakers won was bad, but woo! Let's not forget the Nika riots. 1793, during the French Revolution, Francois Henriot, leader of the Partisan National Guard, arrested 22 Girondists, selected by Jean-Paul Marat, setting the stage for the Reign of Terror. Ooh, does not sound good. Jumping on up in 1866, the Fenians defeated Canadian forces at Ridgeway at Fort Erie, but the raids ended soon after. Wow, that's what? Okay, that's weird. Going back to 1805. Hold on, let me move this 1866. Oops. Copy. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's weird. Alright. 1805, during the Napoleonic Wars, a Franco-Spanish fleet recaptured Diamond Rock, which was an uninhabited island at the entrance to the bay leading to Fort de Franco from the British. And in 1835, P.T. Barnum and his circus started their first tour of the United States. Interesting. 1848, the Slavic Congress in Prague began. I already read 1866 earlier. 1896, Giuliano Marconi applied for a patent for his wireless telegraph. Ooh, look at that. Jumping on up into 1909, Alfred Deakin became Prime Minister of Australia for the third time. Cool. I wonder, like how many, Australian Prime Minister terms?
I'm back. Sorry for that.
That's alright. Let's see here. How many terms, actually? Minister, how many terms? Okay, so let's see here. Australia has no maximum period for service for a prime minister, unlike countries such as the U.S., where the president can only serve 2 4-year terms. Okay, so you can be a prime minister forever. That's interesting.
Yeah, just like the Pope. The Pope could be a Pope forever. There's no term limits for him either.
Well, that's supposed to be a position that you fill until you die. So, that's kind of special.
Yeah, and you need term limits.
Yeah,
They need limits.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, when you bring God into something, like, how can you put the will of the people over the will of God? But then again, the will of the people is the will of God. So...
Yeah, they vote the fucker in, so...
That is a very intriguing question. I'd like to restart the Sunday Jabberwocky and, like, bring that up for discussion and everything. That's
so if they can vote him in, they can make term limits. They can vote for term limits.
That is true. Anyway,
what year are we on?
We are in 1910.
1910. Charles Rolls, a co-founder of Rolls-Royce Limited, becomes the first man to make non-stop double crossing of the English Channel by plane. Ooh.
Dang, so that means he went one way and came back.
Yeah.
Interesting.
English Channel. Wow.
Yeah.
1924, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge signs the Indian Citizen Act into law, granting citizenship to all Native Americans born within the territorial limits of the United States.
Good. And, like, who's...
Bad, because there are citizens, were citizens before you cunts showed up.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck are we to sit here and think that we have the authority to decide whether or not the natives have citizenship? Are we out of our fucking minds? What the hell? Oh man, that got me mad. I'm mad. Continue, please. Get my mind off of this.
Yeah. Must even look at your mind off. Go to Michaelis and look at that picture I said.
Okay. Discord.
1941, World War II. German paratroopers murdered Greek civilians in the villages of Konomani and Akialanos.
Dang. I saw this picture.
Remember,
what the
hygiene, dental hygiene is important.
Why does that picture look so familiar? Like, not that exact one, but that pose. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on into 1953, the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II at Westminster Abbey became the first British coronation and one of the first major international events to be televised.
Yeah, the current queen today?
Yeah. Wow. 69 years ago. Nice. 1955, the USSR and Yugoslavia signed the Belgrade Declaration and thus normalized relations between the two countries, discontinued since 1948. So that's, 7 years afterwards? So, yeah. And then in 1962, during the FIFA World Cup, police had to intervene multiple times in fights between Chilean and Italian players in one of the most violent games in football history. Dang.
They don't play in soccer. They do not play in football. They will fight like those soccer hooligans.
Yeah, like I remember another thing he did was he like grabbed 2 bottles of beer and like popped the caps off in his eye sockets. Like that was nuts. That's a insane man right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, fun fact. He was a football player as well.
That does not surprise me. He looked the part.
Yes.
He had the body and the everything, you know, like. Anyway, your turn, I believe.
1964, the Palestine Liberation Organization (PLO) was formed.
Oh, nice.
1967, Luis Magón is executed in Colorado gas chamber in the last pre-phonom execution in the United States.
Holy shit, we gassed somebody. What the fuck?
1967, protests in West Berlin against the arrival of the Shah of Iran are brutally suppressed, during which Tino Olsensword is killed by a police officer. His death results in the founding of the terrorist group movement 2nd of June.
Dang.
On the 2nd of June.
The 2nd of June. Rune, the 2nd of June. Remember, the 5th of November. 1979, Pope John Paul II started his first official visit to his native Poland, becoming the first pope to visit a communist country. Whoa. 1980. Wow, John Paul I did a lot of firsts, didn't he? Or the second. He did a lot of firsts, didn't he? Like.
Yes.
Although I don't know the record of all the other popes, because, like, you know, if you're going to count first of everything, literally, then, you know, I can be the first.
Man, what was the first pope to roast somebody?
Oh, that'd be cool. Like, I wonder what a papal insult would be, because, like, he's supposed to be composed and everything, so, like, you know, you have to really push a pope for him to badmouth you.
They read the papal. The pope says your mother is so fat when she sits around the table. She sits around the table. They chuckle.
Thou's mother so heavy, she increases the weight of hell itself. I don't know. Anyway, 1983, after an emergency landing because of an in-flight fire, 23 passengers aboard Air Canada 797 were killed when a flashover occurred as the plane's doors opened. Because of this incident, numerous new safety regulations were put in place. What is a flashover? Does not sound good.
Oh, here's one. Your mama is so fat. The last time she took a bath, there was a vent called the Black Plague.
Oh, damn. A flashover is the near simultaneous ignition of most of the directly exposed combustible material in an enclosed area. That does not sound good. When certain organic materials are heated, they undergo thermal decomposition and release flammable gases. So essentially, like, the fire just suddenly was everywhere. Like, instantaneously. Yep. That's horrifying. Can you imagine?
So fast.
Like, it's like a scene out of, like, a cartoon or something. Like, you know, when, like, you know, you're sitting in a plane and all of a sudden everything's on fire and you're in a free fall. Like, that's essentially what happened. That's terrifying. Oh my god. Anyway, moving on up into 1990, the Lower Ohio Valley tornado outbreak spawned 66 confirmed tornadoes in Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, killing 12. Damn. That's insane. Your turn.
Yeah, you did Tornado Valley. Okay, 1997 in Denver, Timothy McVeigh is convicted on 15 counts of murder and conspiracy for his role in the 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, in which 168 people died. He is executed 4 years later. Yeah, we talked about him in deaths already.
Yeah.
2003, Europe launched its first voyage to another planet, Mars. The European Space Agency Mars Express probe launched from the Batory Space Center in Kazakhstan. Ooh, Kazakhstan.
Yeah, going back an article real quick, like how many consecutive life sentences was that other guy? Was that the Unabomber yesterday? Like,
no, that wasn't the Unabomber. It was the person who also conspired in the
And he got what, like 168 consecutive life sentences or something? Like,
yes, 168 consecutive life sentences.
Wow.
That man had to die 168 fucking times before he can get set free.
Jeez, that guy is going to be in prison until the end of humanity. I tell you what.
So his fucking ghost is going to be there.
Yeah.
Serving time.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I had to bring that up because that's still like 168 consecutive life sentences. How?
Well, I got one more.
Yeah, you do.
2012, I can do the last two. Former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak is sentenced to life imprisonment for his role in the killing of demonstrators during the 2011 Egyptian Revolution.
Good. Maybe he should get 168 life sentences too.
Also, 2014, Telangana officially becomes the 29th state of India, formed from 10 districts of Northwest Pradesh.
Nice. Cool. So it sounds like they got another overpopulation, and they had to redistrict. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we move into births and deaths, any articles grab your attention more than most?
Timothy McVeigh getting convicted.
Yeah.
FIFA World Cup. The Native American Citizen Act, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Rolls-Royce. Charles Royce crossing the English Channel. Double cross non-stop.
Yeah. Let's not forget Miss Bridget Bishop, who was the first woman to be killed during the Salem witch trials. Or she was the first person to be tried for witchcraft and then found guilty and was later hanged. So. But let's not forget that era also spawned one of the most badass human beings who have ever lived. That old guy who they kept putting like rocks on him, and then like the only thing he said was more weight, and then he eventually died. Like in order to save his granddaughter or something, I don't know. It was crazy time. Well, we're living in crazy times now. Like, just like war, crazy never changes. Anyway, moving on up into bursts. I'm going to start us off today, if that's cool. In the year 1305, we have Abu Sa'id Banadur Khan, was a ruler of Ilkhanati. He later died in 1335. Then in 1644, William Salmon was an English medical writer. You know, it makes me wonder, like, were fish named after the last name Salmon, or is salmon a last name that evolved out of the fish? Like, and how do last names get made? Like, how do you make new last names? Like how did I get how did my last name come to be? How did yours? Middle names. Like naming entirely, like beyond just the first name. Like, it's thoughts like these that drive me crazy. I never-ending quest for knowledge. Anyway, he was an English medical writer, dying in 1713. And then we have Martha Washington, was born on this date in 1731. She was the very First Lady of the United States of America, George Washington's wife. She later died in 1802.
Okay. 1865, Adelaide Casey Halford, Sierra Leone Creole advocate and civil for cultural nationalism.
Activist for cultural nationalism.
Yep. 1819, Catherine Tucker Wyndham, U.S. journalist and author. And 1927, W. Watts Biggers, U.S. author, screenwriter, and animator.
What a last name, Biggers. Like.
Was he bigger?
I don't know. But his full name was William Watts Biggers, and he went by Buck, aka Buck. So, interesting.
His name is Buck, and he come the fuck.
Oh God. Yo, dude, that reminds me, like, a stand-up comedian did a bit about that, and he was like, oh, but I was watching it on TV, so they had it censored. So it's just like, my name is Buck, and I like to party. I was like, what the hell? Don't you love TV censors? They always, like, just make things even funnier than they're supposed to be. I don't know.
Oh God, yes. In this one movie, it does that. Baby boy, instead of saying chocolate bitch, scare a little chocolate bunny.
Chocolate what?
Scare a little chocolate bunny.
What the fuck? Chocolate bunny. That's pretty good. Anyway, then 1945, we have Richard Long, English painter, sculptor, and photographer. And that's my three.
Okay. 1946. 1946. Peter Sutcliffe, English serial killer. 1951. Gilbert Baker, U.S. artist, gay rights activist, and designer of the rainbow flag.
1955, Nandan Nilekani is an Indian businessman who co-founded Infosys. 1958, Lex Luger. Wow, this guy has a more evil name than Lex Luthor. Like,
yes.
Really, Lex Luger. Like, he's literally a gunman.
Yep.
He is a U.S. wrestler and football player.
Real name, Lawrence Wendell Poffel.
Let me look that up here real quick to copy and paste that. Lawrence Wendell Poffel. Wow. He looks like an angry man. Let's see here. Lawrence Wendell Poffel, a.k.a. Lex Luger. And then 1959, we have Lydia Lunch, is a U.S. singer-songwriter, guitarist, and actress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about ready for lunch, too.
Also, 1966, Diana Cardew, Haitian-born Canadian U.S. professional bodybuilder. Oh shit! Yes.
Yeah, I put that in there because like, he's Haitian-born and then he's Canadian U.S. Like this guy's all over the place.
Also, 1972, Wayne Brady. U.S. comedian, game show host, and singer-song. And 1977, Alan Neil Jones, also known as AJ Styles. U.S. wrestler.
Why am I not surprised that you know this? Like, I am and I'm not at the same time. 1978, Yi So-yeon was born on the States. He is a biotechnologist and astronaut who is the first Korean in space.
Damn.
1978, we have Justin Long, is a U.S. actor, and I saw his picture, and he looks very much like the guy who died in the first Jeepers Creepers.
He is the guy who died in the first Jeepers Creepers.
Okay, that's why he looks like the guy who died in the first Jeepers Creepers. So, I will just... Yeah, I'll just move that, get rid of the question mark. And then, last but not least, 1979, Butterfly Boucher is an Australian singer-songwriter, guitarist, and producer, and her real name is Butterfly Gisley Grace Boucher. Wow, her first name really is Butterfly. Okay. That's intriguing. Anyway, moving on to the deaths, why don't you start us off?
657, Pope Eugene the First. 1292, Reyes Mardud, Welsh nobleman and rebel leader. Mm-hmm. And a traitor. Take him away.
That's it. I am the senator.
You're part of the rebel alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
Dude, like, the way he was waving her finger, like, you know, I swear when I was a kid, like, I remember him saying, like, you're part of the Rebel Alliance and a scoundrel. Like,
Alright, the way he's waving his finger like a disappointed father.
yeah, he was!
Well,
He didn't even know it yet, he was!
that is his daughter. That is his daughter, though. That's the way he's waving his finger like a fucking disappointed father. Like, I am disappointed in you.
Daughter, I am disappointed. Join me at the dark side.
We have healthcare.
We have healthcare. Sounds a lot like Canada to me. Dark Justin, you know. Anyway, you have another one here.
1963, John.
1693.
1693, John Wildman, English soldier and politician who is a postmaster general of the United Kingdom.
I wonder if he really was a wild man, though. You know, like that guy from the Hurt Locker. You're a wild man.
I haven't seen Hurt Locker.
Neither have I. I've just seen clips, as usual, with, you know, everything else I'm aware of. Anyway, 1785, Jean-Paul de Gois de Malves died on this date. He was a French mathematician and academic. Was born in 1713. 1865, Nur Middleswarth was an American judge and politician. Was born in 1783. And then 1947, John Gritton, 1st Baron Gritton, died on this date. He was an English sailor and politician, having been born in 1873.
Let's see. 1952, Naum Torbo, Bulgarian architect who designed the Central Sofia Market Hall.
Taking a look at it. Oh, okay.
1970, Bruce McLaren, New Zealand race car driver engineer who founded the McLaren Racing Group. 2005, Melita Norwood, English civil servant and spy.
2007, Huang Ju was a Chinese engineer and politician who is the first vice premier of the People's Republic of China. Was born, unfortunately, in 1938. And then, last but not least, we have Richard Dawson, was an English U.S. soldier, actor, television personality, and game show host. He was born in 1932. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar of the description for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes
Shohin TV on Twitch.
And everything Omni Coalition. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day between 10 to 11 in the morning. You know, try to really get it in there earlier in the day. Pacific time, 10 to 11 Pacific time. So on.
12 to 1 Central.
Yep. For all of you and all of us, I am Ao Xander.
Me.
And we are joined by Locos, and you are you. And until you see us tomorrow, do not forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles. Let's go, Brandon.